Or to say, hey guys, it's Klaus. Welcome back to another episode. And look at here, I'm in my artillery. But don't worry, this is not just an artillery replay. We're actually going to try and learn something here, and not just about how to play artillery. I am not an expert, but I think I've caught on to a couple of things. But also how to play against and with artillery. A little bit of game advice. Why not? And like I said, I do not claim to be a Unicom super artillery player or know everything, but I have picked up a couple of things, and it's not rocket science. It's pretty simple. And I'll just ramble as we watch a couple of games here in my whatever this is, the Tier 9 American artillery. Well, one thing when you're playing artillery, a lot of you, if you've played 10,000 games and you know all this shit, well, you know, don't worry about it. Just watch, then you'll have fun watching. Or if you hate artillery, don't stop watching, because I'm going to try and talk about how to play against and with artillery, and how to learn a little bit. By playing artillery, I think I've become a better heavy tank and medium tank player. But let's get into here. I'll just ramble around and a couple of things. Initial setup, you'll notice I went to the east here, and you can use the line on your screen to figure out where you can hit and where there's obstacles. And I've taken my first shot pre-aimed down here. Why was I aimed down here? Well, because my RU-251 ran down there to scout. So why not aim where your scouts are going? But on any given map, you have a pretty good idea where heavy tanks and medium, where the corridors are and where the clusters go. And on this map, there's always a big fight on the east side here. So by using the, you know, that little line on your map, you can get an idea of when you have, or whether you'll have shots on that side. So if I went way to the west, it would be a pretty shitty place to initially set up. Well, you know, that's basic. Everybody knows that. But what about if you're not an artillery, if you're one of my teammates or one of the enemies? Well, let's talk about teammates first, because it's interesting here. And I think I learned by playing artillery a little bit, you know, I'm just looking around the map here, but holding my aim on the east side there. Look at my teammates here. I've pinged that map and told them I'm, you know, ready to shoot there. Okay? And they see that they have a couple of artilleries down here supporting them on this side. So I told them I was going to shoot there. But they're pushing into the enemies, so they're not letting the enemies round the. I have no shot here. See, the indicator is red because they've pushed and the enemies have backed up. Did you get that? Let's go back here. You see, my line is red. I can't shoot. Now they've pushed around that corner, and I can't shoot these guys. I'm going to try and get an edge shot here, and I indicated that I wanted to shoot there. So, well, you know, big deal. Well, if you were a heavy tank player, if you were one of those guys, and I've done it as well, you kind of ignore your artillery, you just play your game. When I ping there, it might have been smart for them to kind of just see them right there. I can't shoot these guys. I'm telling them I want to shoot there. If they would just back up a little bit and let the enemies push, they would get support from their artillery, but either they don't care or they don't know. And they've pushed up, and I couldn't shoot those guys, so they were on their own. Now I got a shot here. But the point is, when the game starts, if you're a heavy tank and you're going to a corridor, take note of whether there's artillery in the game. So you have to kind of keep track of what the enemy artillery is doing and what your own is doing. And your own artillery can help you a lot. If those guys would have just backed up on that corridor and let the enemies push into them, I could have supported them a lot more, but they did not. They fought aggressively, and so what they did is they pushed. The enemy artillery hammered them, and I wasn't able to help them that much. So now I'm relocating, and I have to relocate because that flank is lost. You know, and they're probably raging, no, you didn't get any support from our artillery. See, I'm spotted here. I'm almost killed. I don't have sixth sense, but I was sure I was spotted. So just a little thing, and now when I play heavy tank, I know, okay, I have 2 artillery on my team, there's 2 on the other team. There's no reason to push this corridor aggressively and try and win in 30 seconds. If I push around the corner, the enemy artillery is going to pound me. If I just play cautiously, and if my own artillery is pinging, highlighting this point, they're aimed here, maybe I should just be a little bit more passive, let the enemy commit and push around the corner. And my artillery can pound them. So there's something to think about when you're playing a heavy tank in a corridor. Now I'm going to try and shoot these guys. I've relocated, and I'm going to take a shot there. That was close, but how about 400 and whatever damage? Okay, so that's number one. I'm just rambling here. This is kind of like no bullshit advice. I'm not telling you have to go to A1 every game on this map, or you must do this, or absolutely this is the only good game. If you don't do this, you're an idiot. I hate hearing that stuff or watching a game where a guy explains everything in intimate detail. You have to, because those type of instructional videos, they're just speaking to the gameplay, and situations always change, and it's what's right in one game is not necessarily right in the next game because it's completely random. Now look at the minimap. We lost the east flank. The enemy has lost the west flank. I have moved because P stands for propelled. SPG, you can move when you're in an artillery, and if I would have stayed where I had set up originally, I'd be dead. And now I'm pinging the cap because I'm letting the team know they will be capping any second now, and none of my team is reacting to that. They're pushing because they're happy they won the west side. But look at the enemy artillery. He's in their base. You see him there? My counterpart. Well, he didn't move. Right? His team won the right side, lost this side. He just stayed. P stands for propelled, but he didn't propel himself anywhere, and he's dead now. Tier 9 artillery. One flank is lost, but just does not move. And I just do not get it. I see it over and over and over. And I've only played maybe 30, 40 games in an SPG, and at least I know P stands for propelled. But I see tier 9 and 10 SPGs that have probably ground those tanks out and played 15,000 games, and they lose a flank, and they don't move, and then they get killed and rage at their team. You didn't help me. Well, self-propelled gun. It's your job to move with your team. It's not up to your team to take care of you. This is what you learn when you play artillery. No one gives a shit. No one gives a flying fuck about you. Only if you're not supporting them, they may rage at you. But no one's going to come back and help you. You have to move and move to where. Look where I am. I'm surrounded by green. I have teammates helping me. And now I'm waiting patiently here to reset. My team has finally realized that they are capping. I guess that's what it is, is nobody looks at the minimap and anticipates what's going to happen. Now, they finally spotted this guy, and I take a shot. So, just an average, silly little game there. Non-Unicom play, and hopefully we learned a couple of things. Number one, your initial setup, use your line on the map to set up so that you have shots on where enemies will be at a well-known choke points. Number two, take note of your friendly artillery on your team. And if they're pinging or highlighting positions that they're pre-aimed at, use them, right? Back up, let the enemies make the mistakes. Let the enemies commit and round the corner and get pounded and stunned and tracked. Then they use their repair and med kits to get untracked. Then you poke around and retract them, right? Use your artillery to take that first shot. Number three, take note of where the enemy artillery lines are. And if you're getting pounded, don't overcommit on corners like those guys on the east side did. And I guess the fourth thing is, if you're an artillery player or an SPG player, P stands for, like, for fuck's sakes, move, right? That tier 9 counterpart of mine that just sat at the spawn, he didn't have to die. That's just, look at that shot. And just because I moved, I get some more damage, like 3,000 damage assist, was able to reset, get an extra kill. Just simple basic stuff, right? Well, let's watch another game and I'll keep rambling. And this is a long game and it's really exciting at the end. It has a really exciting 3-4 minutes at the end. So if you want to skip ahead, you don't want to watch a whole other artillery replay, I'm going to show you the whole thing because, why not? It's my channel. I can do whatever the fuck I want. But I'll warn you now, the last 3 or 4 minutes are, at least don't miss those if you can't hang in there for the whole thing. Skip to the last 4 minutes. And yeah, it was an exciting finish. But let's watch the whole thing here from my perspective. Now look how I'm aimed here. You see my gun arc? I'm going to readjust it here. The V emanating from the front of my SPG there. I'm at the back. I've got most of my aim area is off the map, and I realize that and readjust here. Watch, I think I readjust, or maybe I'm too, there we go, I readjust. You see that? So I still got a shot here, but also, did you see what I just did there? The V, the 2 white lines on the mini-map, I readjusted because a lot of my aiming area, or my gun arc area, whatever you call it, was off the map. So I've readjusted, and here I go. I take my first shot, and here we go. Take a shot, and I missed horribly because because I missed. Because I'm not a Unicom. And do you guys use the G key when you play artillery? I find sometimes I like it and sometimes I don't. It's the different perspective. And I start using it. I use it on and off. Sometimes it's more annoying than this top-down view. Now I'm pinging the map and letting my guys know that I'm pre-aimed down the valley. See, now I've got the G key pressed here so I can get this perspective. And I don't know. This is okay. It gives you more shot him in the face. Critical hit. So there is that. That's by pressing the G key in case you don't know if you're just starting. And you notice what I'm doing between shots, usually I move. Because, and now I've got the stupid G key pressed, so I'm fumbling around here. But I haven't done it in the games I've shown you, but sometimes enemy artilleries will watch for your tracer and be pre-aimed down, especially on this map where there's usually artillery where I am, and they can watch this shot. A blind shot, that ends up being like 400 damage in the post-game stats. But and now I'm moving. I'm still in aerial view, but I actually moved. Because you don't want to get counter-artilleried. Okay? In some maps where there are obvious spots where artilleries always sit, you can just watch from top down, and if you see the tracer shot, then you just pound them back. And a lot of artilleries don't move, and you can take them out. It's happened to me a couple of times when I've been too lazy to move. So now I'm letting my team know I'm going to aim here, so that guy just doesn't poke out yet. It's the guy that was behind the rock. And I take a shot first, and hopefully that helped him out. You see that? If you see your artillery pinging like that, like he's going to shoot, why not let them shoot? I killed one guy, the other guy's stunned, and now those guys can hopefully have an easier time. Oh, look here. Here's the enemy artillery. Someone spotted him. You see where he was there? If I was just looking down there, I probably would have seen his tracers and been able to shoot him and kill him, but I'm not that good. One thing I should point out about that is if you do that counter battery strike, like you're looking down and you see the enemy artillery shoot and you're able to take them out just by seeing their tracer, no one spotted them, or any blind shot you take with artillery, you get the full XP for that because you're not getting, someone else is not getting the spotting assist. So those type of shots get you a lot of XP. Maybe you should talk a little bit of how you get a lot of XP in your artillery. Just taking those blind shots. Now I'm letting the team know I'm almost ready to shoot here. Like the blind shot I took on that E75, I get full XP for that damage, or if I counter strike, counter battery an enemy artillery, I'll get full XP. And now I'm making sure my shot counts here. I'm just waiting. If he pulls in, see, that's gone red, so boom. That was close. And now he's stunned. The other thing is, obviously, the stun assist. Everyone knows how that works, right? But you want to pick your shots because if you shoot enemies, you can look around the map and decide where am I going to help the most. But if you just want XP, if you shoot enemies that are engaged with your allies, so in this map, along the valley, or where you see a cluster of enemies and friendlies fighting, if you stun someone, and I'm going to switch, okay, let's take a good shot here. See that? I actually pressed G, and that was a better option for that particular... Hello, wake up. But anyways, what was I saying there? If you look for areas where your friendlies and enemies are close in fighting, poking over a ridge line or whatever, if you stun the guys that are engaged, you have a higher chance of your teammates then shooting them while they're stunned, and you get the stun assist. That gets you a lot of XP. If you shoot lone tanks out in the middle of nowhere, you get the damage. You probably get half the XP because someone's spotting them if they're lit in the first place. But if they're way off in the middle of nowhere with no chance of your teammates to shoot them, you don't get any stun assists. So if you want to get a lot of XP in your SPG, shoot guys that are in the fight, that are like surrounded by your teammates. Try not to hit your teammates, but you get what I'm saying, right? Look for areas where there's a raging fight going on, where there's back and forth shooting going on. And if you stun the enemies in that situation, look at that. Make sure I don't hit the dead tank. Take 423 damage. That was close. It was only close. You got 423 damage in the face because it was close. Trust me, this game has an exciting finish. It's very close. Yeah, that was close, and it's very close. Excellent communication on this team. You'll see, and at the end is very exciting. another thing I could point out is if you hate artillery, if you can't stand if you're gritting your teeth as you watch this, don't go to areas where it's easy to get hit. Well, how do you know where those areas are? Well, watch artillery replays like this one. The valley is so easy. Now, these guys have pulled behind cover. You see that? I can't shoot them. And as a good SPG driver, I should move and change my angle slightly to try and get a better shot on these guys. And I think I'll do that. But what was I saying is, here I go. I'm going to just adjust my angle a little bit so I get a better shot on these guys. But what was I saying? If you actually hate SPGs and you can't stand being hit by them, I would recommend that you actually play 100 or 200 games in an SPG. At least get one of the ones that you, like the Russian or I recommend the American one that you can get off the Chaffee line, maybe tier 6 or 7 at least. Don't bother with the tier 2 or 3 or 4. But play a tier 6 or 7 artillery, play a couple of 100 games, just so you know how easy it is to hit certain areas on the map. You know, like what areas on the map are just... Because when you play an SPG, you learn right away on certain maps. Oh, I can't shoot over that hill. This part of the city is very safe. This valley section is completely open, but if they hug the corner, the wall along the kind of the east side of the valley, it's impossible to hit them. You know, this area behind this rock is impossible. You learn everything. And now the valley is lost, and both of us here, our two artilleries, are kind of moving so that we don't get spotted by that Centurion 7-1. So what I'm saying is, even if you do not ever want to play artillery, or you hate artillery, play a couple of 100 games, because you wouldn't believe. I've played 40 or 50 games, and I have learned on some maps, like on the valley here, got him. I've learned how to do that as well. But I have learned some small little adjustments in my play for medium and heavy tanks that have made a huge difference. And sometimes you play, and you know those guys that never get hit by artillery because they know, oh, if I hug this corner and just stay here, I have 80% more cover than if I'm in the middle of the valley. Like that Centurion 7-1 made it up the valley and the other guys died because he knew the little nooks and crannies, we couldn't hit him, even though he went up the valley. And little things like that, if you play artillery, you'll learn, oh shit, I go to this spot all the time, and this is an easy shot for artillery. But if I just move a little bit to the left behind this rock, it's an impossible shot. You learn little things like that. I would recommend it. Just play some games just to learn that. It'll make you a better medium tank and heavy tank player. Now, watch this. This is the epic finish, and you're going to learn something else about how to play an SPG and how not to play a medium or a heavy tank. I've taken a side. That was close. Take 419 damage. Don't you hate them? Don't you hate them? Okay, you're going to learn something else about an SPG and how to play if you're actually an artillery player here. Now it's 3 versus, what's the score? It's 4 versus 3, but, oh, look at that. The Centurion 7-1 has come and killed our T-54, and now it's him versus us. And there's a Black Prince over there and a T-43. What are we going to do? I'm going to back. I'm not loaded, so I have to back up. And the Black Prince is spotted. We're not ready to shoot the Black Prince. You see he's fighting the T-43 there. T-43 is dead. It's just the 2 artillery versus the Centurion 7-1, a Black Prince, and their artillery. And I know now that if I wait for that Black Prince to show up, there's no way we can win. So I'm actually going to go and take a hit, and take him out. Because just because I'm in an artillery does not mean that I should just sit around and wait. See, if I waited, that Black Prince would show up, and there's no way we could handle 2, right? A medium and a heavy, and I'm just trying to avoid enemy artillery fire here. It's not coming, so that tells me he's probably not set up in the valley, and we cannot fight a Black Prince. At least I can't, and I'm going to go for the cap. See, there was not an artillery shot. The enemy artillery did not shoot at me after I killed that Centurion 7-1, which tells me he's probably not in this straight line along the valley. He's probably somewhere in the southeast corner of the map. So now I'm telling my teammate, come on, let's go cap. We can't fight a Black Prince, but if we both go up there and cap, maybe we'll win by capping. He can cap our cap, but the 2 of us will cap their cap and win. My teammate hesitated, is not moving, and now I think, I'm excited in this game, and I'm going to encourage him. Come on. I actually start typing in chat, move, come up here, because I wanted him to come cap. But in hindsight, watching the replay here, I realize he's probably pinned by that Black Prince now. He hesitated, didn't come with me right away, which was probably a mistake. Well, this is just what I wanted to do. Maybe he didn't want to do this. But now he's correct in not rushing the valley because he just gets shot up the ass by that Black Prince. So what am I going to do here? I'm going to head for the cap. Oh, there's the enemy artillery. Just auto aim. Watch this. Watch this. That's the money shot. Hoo-ha! Just because you're an artillery does not mean you have to sit and wait. You can be proactive. And now I'm in the cap and I'm telling my eye, come on, come and cap with me. But hats off to him. I was just excited and I don't see his reply. I'm pinned. He can't because that Black Prince, it looks like, went around the back and is probably... I'm worried the Black Prince is going to come this way and kill me. But now he's spotted, so he's not coming that way. So I'm going to readjust here in the cap. I'm going to readjust. I'm wondering whether he's going to kill my teammate or not. He could probably easily kill my teammate or at least ignore my teammate and come to reset. So I tell my teammate, at least shoot him once. If he shoots him once and gets him down in HP, if he pulls around the corner here, then I will be able to pound him for victory. All right, here he goes. I'm saying help like I'm just excited here. And in hindsight, M40, M43, you did a great job here just not dying. And I think he's just watching the valley to see if that Black Prince comes up. So he actually did the right thing despite my raging to move and come and help me. Well, hopefully, let's watch the end here. Was it exciting? I said the ending was exciting. I thought it was. The takeaway in this one, apart from it being just a regular artillery game, is that just because you're in an SPG does not mean you just have to hide right till the end and get killed. You can be proactive and poke around the corner and actually take a hit if you know that the guy you're fighting has, he can't kill you with one shot. That Centurion 7-1 might have done it if he loaded HE, but he didn't. And certainly if the Black Prince was coming at me, I would have taken a hit or two and pounded him one. So just because you're an SPG does not mean you have to hide like a pussy the whole game. And I hope that whole video made you think a little bit about, if you're an SPG player, some things that maybe you already knew. But most importantly, if you're a heavy tank player or a medium tank player, I really encourage you, play a couple of 100 games in an SPG. And like I said, you can get one from the American one off the chaffee. You don't have to grind all the way from tier 1. Get a tier 6 or 7 and play a couple of 100 games, because the things you will learn about positioning and where there's lines of sight and where you're easily hit and where there's cover on the map will surprise you. And I guarantee if you play a couple of 100 games, even if you hate artillery, you will be a better heavy tank or medium tank player. At least it's helped me. And I hope it helps you. I hope you don't all rush out and start playing SPGs now, because there'll be 3 in every fucking game. But you know what I'm saying. Hopefully that helped, and I hope you guys enjoyed that.